on Let's Talk, our guest is Jeff Presley, and he's the city's E911 director and a lot more. Jeff, tell us, before we get into the details, exactly what you do and what your staff does.
Well, you know, I've been 911 director over there now for about 11 years. I've got 26 years of service in with 911 Jonesboro. Seen a lot of changes over the years. You know, we're running a staff of about 22 people right now, 24/7, taking all the emergency calls, not only for Jonesboro, but for Craighead County, and we dispatch for the police, fire, and ambulance. So it's a big task. Technology has changed our world in the past years, and it continues to change it. Some for the better, some for the worse.
Well, and you're on top of all that, because when we have our Monday morning directors meeting, Jeff speaks a language I rarely understand, and it's because you are staying on top of everything that is technologically advanced to help serve Jonesboro.
We try to, and right now we're rated as the #2 911 center in the state of Arkansas in technology and training, and you know, we're proud of that. We've got some good people.
I'm proud of that too.
We now fall under the minimum standards with state law enforcement training academy, so that's a big change for us. It's a good change, accountability. So all 22 people we have is completely certified, so we're 100% trained and in compliance.
Now, most people know that 911 calls have grown probably dramatically over the years as people get to the point where they call for a lot of things that may not require emergencies. But tell us what the state of the art is. What type of things are you able to do that you weren't able to do 10, 15, 20 years ago?
You know, one device that changed the world of emergency services, not only for 911, but for the response, is the cell phone. So the system was designed about 50 years ago. The 911 system in the United States was designed for landline telephones. So when the cell phone come into play, you know, they had to change a lot. So right now with your smartphone, you dial 911, we can tie into the mapping apps that you have on your smartphone. We can get within 7 foot of your location whenever you make a phone call into 911.
My goodness.
Years ago, we would depend on the location of the cell tower, and we could get within a mile. So now we've narrowed that down. So technology has come into play, but also with that, if you look at the call increase with cell phones, you have an accident at 5 o'clock in the afternoon at Southwest Drive in Alexander. I'll use that for an example because we have one about daily there. You might get 40 to 50 911 calls off that one accident. So each one of those calls has to be processed by a call taker to make sure we're talking about the same accident, make sure nothing has changed. We could have entrapment, a fire, and things like that. So cell phones is increased the response time because we get more detailed information, but it's also added to the workload a little bit.
I bet it has. You know, and this is my supposition, so I want you to speak to it, but I feel like we recently weathered an ice storm. It wasn't as bad as this ice storm I've heard about from several years ago, but I know it made your phones ring off the wall. What do people need to know? First of all, you have a program that people can sign up for and get alerts about motor vehicle accidents, locations, weather updates, dangerous weather updates, any type of threat, I think. Can you tell us a little bit about that system?
That's correct. We've got it's a great product that we've been using for about 6 years here in the city of Jonesboro and Craighead County. It's called Nixle, N-I-X-L-E. So Nixle.com if you want to look at their website. But it's easy to sign up, it's free, it's secure. So any type of information going out is power outages, motor vehicle accidents, if we're closing a roadway for construction, you're going to get that information on your phone, on your cell phone with a text message. So several of those messages will go out on any given day. And sometimes it's you know, an accident that we have to reroute school buses or things like that. But it's very easy to sign up. All you got to do is text your zip code to 888-777 on your smartphone. It will sign you up for this Nixle alert.
And the alerts you will get, almost daily I get one that will tell me that there's a motor vehicle accident. Sometimes it'll say with injuries. but it will let me know of an intersection to avoid if I'm traveling somewhere. There are other uses for it, and can you tell us a little bit about those, and particularly a bad weather event?
Absolutely. You know, the event we had last week, the ice storm, we had some power outages, and we also had some trees down across the roadway. So we try to put those Nixle alerts out as soon as possible, especially with the power lines and trees down, a very dangerous scenario there. Crews are out working. They're covered up, so it may be a while before they get to that area. But you got that advance notice, and if it's in your area, you'll know why your electric's out. Talked about the ice storm. Many of the calls we received during that event was about power outages. Of course, we're in contact with CWL and the power companies to help get it restored, but it's not really a 911 call. So that advance information you're going to get off of Nixle is going to help you.
And it's urgent, it's immediate, and we do try to keep you abreast of the general activities on our Facebook page and at the city website. But Nixle Alert will tell you in the moment the important things that you will need to know in case of any type of emergency.
That's correct, and again, it is free, and we have when you put your zip code in there, you'll see the different accounts set up in the area. Several of the schools has their own Nixle account. So if they're canceling school or letting out early one day, they can send that out. So you can sign up for all of those if you want to and get the advance notice, and it's free of charge and secure.
Very free, very secure. Tell us about the 311 service.
You know, we looked at 311 service over the years, which is a very good concept for a call center. 311 is right the opposite of a 911 center. 311 is a reporting module that a call center will actually produce a report for, let's say, if we have a washout at a culvert or a pothole that's a dangerous situation. Someone calls in that event, we start a report. It will give them a report number where they can log in and actually check the dates and the times of the repairs. So we hope to move into a complete 311 system in the near future.
Very good, very good. Now, how many people do you have on staff?
I've got 22 full-time people. I've got 3 supervisors, 1 on each shift. So we're working 24/7. You know, we opened this 911 center in 1991, and since that day, there has always been somebody in there working. So at 6 in the morning, day shift comes in, they'll work till 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock to 10, second shift, and then third shift. So there's always somebody on duty, at least 4 to 5 people working at any given time.
Jeff, what is the most common call that you get that's not really meant to be a 911 call?
You know, we get a lot of calls about parking issues. Believe it or not, a lot of folks will call because someone parked in a handicapped spot at Walmart.
That's not a 911 issue.
Correct. 911 is meant to be life or death situations. A lot of people sees emergencies in a different view. We're going to respond to any calls we get. If it's non-emergency, they may redirect you to a non-emergency call number. But last year we answered 260,000 phone calls in 911 Jonesboro.
Wow. Wow, in Jonesboro alone. And but they will reroute you to an appropriate
That's
department.
correct. They'll change you over to a non-emergency number. And the reason being, we need those 911 lines for medical emergencies,
Absolutely.
heart attacks, anything that's going to be a life or death situation. Time is very important. So you always want to have your address ready, know where you're at. They're going to ask you a series of questions: who, what, where, why, and weapons. Just be prepared to answer that quickly, because it's all about the time of the response.
That's the key, is knowing what are the important things. Sometimes when it's an emergency, you're in a panic and you don't know things. Do we have any way to help people spot their own location if they have a call on a cell phone?
You know, we rely a lot on just the layout of the area they're in, the intersections. We'll ask them what road signs, what buildings, landmarks, and things like that. But with today's smartphone, if you're in your vehicle, we're going to find pretty close to your location. And of course, we've got an add-on enhanced system that's free also, is Smart 911, that you can sign up for, and it's attached to your cell phone, and it's free and secure, and it actually follows you statewide. This is a state system, so if you dial 911, if you're traveling in Little Rock, that dispatch center is going to see your profile, and it's going to have a geocode. It's going to show your location.
And now this is not a scam, this is not Facebook, this is for your safety. We're not tracking anyone to try to sell them some foot ointment later on. This is a service.
That's correct.
For the city that is free, and you don't know when an emergency is going to happen. So the best thing to do is to get signed up.
It is, and you know, it's you're talking about security of the system. It's not a searchable database with your information in there. The only time that your information or your tracking of your map or your phone can be seen is if you dial 911.
Okay, and if you are, tell what system, if you have information filled out on, our responders will know whether you have an elderly person or a sick person in the house, or someone with physical or mental disabilities. That's
correct. Smart911.com. You can go to that website. It's very easy and simple, safe, free, secure. This is a statewide system. You can build your profile for your family. You can add every phone number of every family member. You can add information, special needs of anybody in that household, utility shutoffs for the fire departments, medical information for the EMS people, and even alarm systems for the police department. So that's going to give us a snapshot, the 911 dispatcher. When you need us quickly, we're going to have a snapshot of your world, of your layout, of the people that lives there, the vehicles you drive. It's an enhanced system that can save lives.
It's a fabulous thing. If you feel like today you're living good and no worries are going on, it's probably a good time to sign up for it, because you don't want to have to do it under the gun. So
all that can change in a heartbeat with one event, so be prepared.
Very good. Jeff, thank you for taking the time to visit with us on Let's Talk.